Good morning everybody and welcome to Rational Thinking. My name's Josh and today we will be covering all of last week's Brexit data along with the employment figures from the US and also the ECB meeting for the Euro. So last week was quite an important week for US and UK relations. We obviously had Donald Trump over and also emerged Boris Johnson as a leading candidate for the head of the Tory party. Donald Trump, being vocal as ever, put his opinions into the mix, saying that he fully backed Boris Johnson and also said Nigel Farage had a lot to offer in terms of Brexit negotiations themselves. What was very key and very important was that Mr. Johnson came out and said, irrespective of what the conditions are, with our deadline of the 31st of October, we will be leaving, that may be with or without a deal. Donald Trump quickly also went on to add that the UK would be at the forefront of future US trade negotiations, and he's very keen to put forward a deal to work with us, and thus giving us an incentive to pursue a no-deal Brexit. So in regards to the dollar or even the greenback, it is not a very, very rosy picture that we'd seen over the last quarter. We had a slowdown in manufacturing and construction data, and also for the first time in a very long time, we had Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Federal Reserve, say that they may look at cutting interest rates soon, which is huge. They haven't cut interest rates since he took office, and we know there's always been tension between Donald Trump and also Jerome Powell, as Donald Trump advocated a cut in interest rates, and Jerome Powell's only been increasing interest rates. Outside of that, the US labour market has slowed down massively. This was always going to be the case with the growth that we'd seen in the labour market, increasing interest rates. It was only a matter of time before that really started to slow down, and again advocating a cut in interest rates, especially given the backdrop of the US-China trade negotiations. So regarding the euro, even the single currency, not a good week at all. Last week, Mario Draghi at the ECB press conference said that they would be looking to extend their current quantitative easing package and keep interest rates at their all-time low for the foreseeable future. The exact timeframes for the interest rate, he said at least until mid-2020, which is a massive contrary to what he said in March, that we may be looking at raising interest rates as early as the end of this year. This is, very negative for the euro, because for many months, or even potentially years, we've heard that they may be moving away from the post-financial crisis monetary policy and really look to spare things on, but it hasn't seemed to be the case at all. So in terms of key announcements this week, we've got quite a bit of good data coming out. We've got GDP figures, both core and regular GDP figures for the UK, along with retail sales, again, both core and regular retail sales. For the Eurozone, we haven't got too much. We've got Mario Draghi speaking in Frankfurt later on this week, but again, that's not looking to really drive the market in either direction, but being the head of one of the main central banks in the world, it's not something that we can disregard. For the US dollar, again, we've got a few bits and pieces of data out, again in the way of inflation figures, but considering what we're seeing, US trade deals with China, that's definitely going to be the forefront. The second order effect, by all means, will be what implications that has on inflation and rates of interest. And that's all for me. As always, thank you for joining us. Here at RationalFX, we aim to help you with your business currency requirements, so please do feel free to reach out to us on the email address provided. Thank you.